وسهلا بكل الذين ينضموا للاستماع إلى راديو بلدي أول راديو عربي أمريكي ويعنى بقضايا العرب في المهجر. برامجنا في راديو بلدي كل يوم جمعة من 8 وحتى 9 صباحا في بث حي ومباشر عبر WNZK راديو 690 AM. صباح الخير بلدي، صباح الخير لكل مستمعينا.
Welcome to Radio Baladi, the first Arab, Middle Eastern, and American simulcast radio show. Radio Baladi is broadcast every Friday morning on WNZK 690 AM from 8 until 9 Eastern Time on Good Morning Michigan. Our call-in number 248-557-3300. And now, stay tuned for the best radio talk show on Arab and American issues.
Good morning. Thank you for being with us. This is the Local Connections with Khalil Hachem, editor via Michigan.com, a digital business magazine serving the Arab American communities in Michigan. We provide business and real estate news, loan and lending information, support for small businesses, and much more. Visit us at Michigan.com. Once again, thank you for being with us. Today is May 20th, 2022. It's a Friday. The number here is 248-557-3300. Give us a call should you have a question or a comment in Arabic or in English. It's a warm Friday. It's a warm morning. Temperature could reach in the 90s today. It's going to be a little bit warm. And we hope that you enjoy it. It's a little bit cloudy, but we will take the temperature. We have a great program for you today. We're going to be talking about the opioid crisis. TSA will be with us later in the show to talk about summer travel, and we will discuss increasing interest rates and how they affect mortgages. More than 130 people die from opioid-related drug overdose a day in the U.S. In our community, we keep losing young people, sometimes every week, sometimes every month. What can we do about it? What can be done about it? What's the government doing about it? And what does the community need to do about it? With us this morning to talk about the response from the authorities is FBI Special Agent in charge, James Tarasca, to help us understand what's going on and what can be done about it. Good morning, sir. Thank you for being with us.
Leo, it's such a pleasure to see you. Thanks for having me, and thank you to all your listeners.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Give us, please, an update. Where are we? What's going on? And what's being done?
Of course. Again, everybody understands the opioid epidemic has been around for a long time. It continues to impact us at all levels. There's no one person, one group that's affected by the opioid epidemic. It's across the boards. It's every community, and it is an epidemic. It'll continue to be an epidemic. Unfortunately, we do fight it.
Recording in progress.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. Just again, just for some background for those who aren't as aware as others are, the rise in opioid deaths can be outlined in three distinct waves. Essentially, the first wave began in the 1990s. That's where it became very prevalent through prescription opioids that everybody's pretty familiar with: OxyContin, codeine, morphine, Vicodin. Those prescription drugs became addictive. It's opium based, very similar to heroin, as we all know. It's generally the same effects. The second wave began around 2010 with a rapid increase in overdose deaths involving heroin. So we saw that uptick. Everybody is familiar with that. I'm sure it, again, impacted all communities throughout the country and throughout the world, really. And then the third wave began more recently in 2013 with significant increases in overdose deaths involving synthetic opioids, particularly those involving fentanyl. So fentanyl, that rings a bell. It is a deadly drug. It's extremely powerful, and it's killing our people. It's killing the young, the old. It's addictive, and it's increasingly cheaper to get. So fentanyl is practically and effectively 50 to 100 times more potent than heroin and other prescription opioids. So heroin's been around for hundreds of years. Fentanyl is, again, that much more powerful, 50 to 100 times more powerful. So the addiction is increasing, and just the smallest dose can kill, which again we are seeing across the boards. It's often mixed with heroin, cocaine, meth, and other street drugs, and it results in overdose deaths by the users. And a lot of times they're unaware of the presence of fentanyl within the drugs they purchase. So that's just some background, Khalil.
Sure.
There's an upward trend, of course, with heroin and opioid overdose deaths in the U.S. The CDC reported nearly 110,000 overdose deaths across the U.S. in 2021. It's 110,000 deaths. They're senseless deaths, of course. They're drug related, and it is, it's the user that's deciding to use those, and however they start, it's usually a gateway drug, perhaps marijuana, but there's no real proven facts of how that begins, how somebody decides to start with to get to the level of fentanyl. There's absolutely been a history of younger folks trying heroin perhaps at a party, and they're looking for a better high. Some have just snorted a little bit of heroin just to see what it's like, and then they're looking for that addiction. So then they end up injecting it and working their way up to fentanyl. So they're just looking for that increasing high. And again, it's addictive. And that addiction not only harms that person, eventually can kill them. It leads to them trying to get money for the drugs, which are increasingly expensive, which impacts family, friends, communities through theft and robbery. It's a vicious cycle.
Sure. Now, when we say an opioid, we're saying some of these people get in legal drugs and illegal drugs, or the category here only for legal drugs. What are we talking about?
That's a great question. There's two types. Of course, there's the illegal on the street that you can buy. You can buy prescription drugs illegally on the street. We, the FBI, investigate, and again, all the federal agencies, our local partners, our state partners, the interagency, as we would say, work on task forces and as groups to investigate the illicit and illegal distribution of drugs. The second part of that, of course, is actual medical facilities that prescribe these drugs and essentially set up scams and schemes to make money, to make a lot of money off prescription drugs, to have quote unquote patients come in, write them prescriptions, which the doctors are paid for, and then the users go cash in the prescription, and then they can sell the drug. So we do have plenty of cases, not only here in Michigan. Again, I'm FBI Detroit. I cover the whole state of Michigan with my folks and our interagency partners. A great example here in Michigan is of a clinic essentially bringing patients, again, quote unquote, patients in with pain. In this case, they would describe it as back pain. The clinic not only would write them prescriptions for drugs, they were administering painful back injections to make the scheme look a little more legit, that there was actual back pain, which there wasn't in most cases, but they were actually charging the government for these painful back injections, which people would receive. Then they'd get the prescription, and then they could sell the drugs or use the drugs. So it was a big scheme, and it was a big investigation. And we end up indicting 12 physicians that were sentenced to countless years in prison. Again, these in some cases led to death. So this does involve drug dealers on the street at a local level, drug cartels from other countries, doctors right here in Michigan and throughout the country. So you're almost only limited by your imagination. Again, the end state is the victimization of our folks, of our communities.
Yeah. How are young people getting drawn to this?
Again, it's nothing new. This goes back years and years. There's several ways I've referenced, kind of gateway drugs. A lot of times it starts at a party. It can, maybe as innocent as some alcohol at a party, underage drinking, maybe some marijuana. And then again, they're looking for a different high. They're looking to experiment. And sometimes it's glamorized in movies. I mean, heroin, if you think about heroin, some of the most famous singers and songwriters and actors have used heroin, and it's been glamorized. And our youth, especially in this day and age, it's you look at the pandemic, the last 2 years, like kids get bored and they want to do things, and they're getting online and they're seeing things, and they're influenced very, very easily by a lot of outside external factors. So again, we have our whole community outreach program, which is extremely important to me. Our community outreach, again, we're the FBI. Our job and duty is to uphold the Constitution and protect the citizens. I look at us as the guardians of the communities, and we are there to support the communities, to make sure people live happy, healthy lives, free of crime, free of addiction. So we have our investigators that actually do the investigations, but we have our community outreach team. And again, not just the FBI, but other groups, but I'll talk about ours, which is very amazing. We have 3 folks, and they get out and they talk to the community. And I actually try to attend as many of those events as I can to talk to the community, to teach the community, especially at the younger levels, the 4th and 5th graders, the high schoolers. We have programs designed to teach them about drug awareness. It's not just drug awareness. And towards the end, Khalil, if you give me a few minutes, I can get into some of the other things they do, because they are an amazing group. But we have full-time community outreach folks that specifically are out there to protect and help our communities understand what the problems are. And in this case, the opioid epidemic, to understand the dangers of it, how to avoid it. This is everybody needs to be involved in this
Sure.
part. It's the best way to get past opioids is the prevention of it. If we don't have anyone taking opioids, yeah.
So, and that was going to be my second question. The other 2 players, in addition to what you guys are doing, and we appreciate everything you do, is we have the parents, and then we have the community. And I think the number 1 is are the parents. And then number 2, then the community collectively needs to work together. What do we need to do to help you doing your job?
So that's a great question, Khalil, and thank you for that. Again, we do have community outreach team here and I say Detroit, but it's all of Michigan. We can travel to wherever we need to. There's some great resources out there that every listener right now can go online and check out, just for starters, to see what's out there. FBI.gov is a great resource for not only opioids, but everything that the FBI does. Learn a little bit more about the FBI. To me, there's nothing better than a young person becoming interested in the FBI and kind of guiding their school years towards becoming an FBI agent or an analyst or an FBI employee. Again, the FBI generally a lot of times is looked at by people that don't understand what we do as sometimes not necessarily the good guy, but the FBI, again, we are there to support the community. It's we change, we evolve, and we're there to support you all. So again, FBI.gov, it's a great place to go, read some great stories, some great facts, and it's very kid friendly too. So I think the sooner our youth are exposed to websites like that versus some of the negative ones, the more helpful it is. So FBI.gov. From FBI.gov, you can find the Detroit webpage. And again, I say Detroit, but Detroit covers all of Michigan. I've mentioned that. They can learn more about our office. It has me on there, has our community outreach folks and my management team, my leadership team, some of the things we're doing, some of the arrests we're making, a lot of the community outreach projects that we're working on too. And then we're on Twitter. I'm really pushing Twitter because I really enjoy advertising what we do. In fact, our interview, Khalil, I will have posted on Twitter that I was on your radio show, because it really is an honor, and it's important for me, for our community to see, hey, this is what the FBI is doing. They are reaching out to the communities. We're not just sitting in an office building looking to arrest people all the time. This is a big part of my job. So at FBI Detroit, you can see some of the neat things. There's a lot of our community outreach projects that we're doing there, and many folks listening, many of the listeners right now are familiar with some of the members of our community outreach team, including Mary Abajud. Khalil, I know you're familiar with Mary. She's amazing. Will Council and Shami Yukana. They're out there. That's their full-time job, is this community outreach. They talk about everything from opioids, but they talk about sex extortion too. That's a whole nother topic we won't get into now, of course, maybe another time. again, it really impacts the youth. Getting online with not a lot to do.
Sure.
So
I
could go. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's, it seems to me, talking to a lot of parents really don't know what to do and don't know much about it. Do we need, as a community or as a government, to educate parents? Because this is the first gate. Do we need to educate parents on the signs, what they need to, look for, and then what they need to do if they suspect any drug use among the youth?
Yes. That, again, Khalil, great question, great point. Yes, the involvement of the family, whether it be parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, or just loved ones, close family members, it's up to everybody to be on the lookout for signs of any sort of addiction or anything that's not healthy to a young person. There are plenty of resources online to look for that, and they're pretty simple. Look for these signs. If you see changes in your child, again, I'm a father. I educated myself as well when my children were young, like things to look for, and how to deal with that. If something's not right, or you suspect something's going on, how to deal with that. The most important thing, and I think sometimes as a parent, the hardest thing is just talking to our kids about things that aren't comfortable. We love talking about things that, sports or food or family. Those are easy, but it's hard to talk about drug addiction and sextortion, but we need to. And again, there's great resources to help parents figure that out, to guide them. And sometimes it's easier to do it as a group, with a group of kids. Again, we have community outreach. There are other resources to talk to children too. But honestly, I think one of the easiest ways is to have our community outreach or something similar come to a school and talk to kids. We have a junior FBI agent program for 4th and 5th graders that our folks conduct, and they talk about it. They talk to them about drugs, drug addiction, and how dangerous it is. So there's a lot of resources, a lot of support out there for all the families.
Excellent. Final thoughts, please.
I want, as the FBI special agent in charge of the Detroit field office responsible for all Michigan, I want all your listeners to understand that I and my entire team, which are upwards of 400 folks throughout Michigan, are here to support the community. You'll see a lot more of me. I've spent a lot of time at the iftars and within the Muslim community and the Chaldean communities, and I'll continue doing that. It's so important for me. Again, I could sit in my office and just guide my people on investigations, but for me and my community outreach team and all my folks, my message is get out there, communicate, connect, and we, again, are the guardians of the public, of the citizens of Michigan. For me, we are a great resource. We are your friends. We are part of the community. I live right in Detroit. I am part of the community. This impacts me and my family as well. So we are all one.
Thank you. I really appreciate you taking the time to be with us, and we, I would like later on to come back to the other issue that you mentioned, sex extractions and all of that. So
yes,
we're available, and we thank you for taking the time to be with us, and we thank you for all you do to keep us safe.
Thank you, Khalil. Thank you so much, and to your listeners, be safe, and hope to meet you all in person soon. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. We're going to take a short break. Please stay tuned.
In a perfect world, everyone would be a perfect driver.
Hands at 9 and 3, everyone.
9 and 3.
Everyone would follow all the rules.
Please, go ahead and merge. I'll make room.
Thank you, fellow driver.
And nothing unexpected would ever happen. Even the squirrels would know the right time to safely cross the road. In this perfect world, you wouldn't have to wear a seatbelt. But in case you hadn't noticed, we don't live in a perfect world. About 1,000 people in Michigan die each year in vehicle crashes, and thousands more are injured. Wearing your seatbelt reduces your risk of death in a crash by 45% in a car and by 60% in a pickup truck. So until we find a perfect world to drive in, make our imperfect world safer by buckling up. A message from the Michigan Office of Highway Safety Planning.
Ziyad brand. Quality products from our family to yours.
Ziyad Brothers Importing offers the finest quality products, including brands like Sultan, Kraft, Nestle, Hook, Rico Picon, Dana, and many more. Ask your retailer to carry these fine products because you deserve the very best. For more information, visit our website at www.ziyad.com. That's www.ziyad.com. Ziyad, quality products from our family to yours.
بعد تطعيم أكثر من 3 بلايين شخص حول العالم بشكل كامل بلقاح كوفيد-19 تمت الآن الموافقة على تلقيح الأطفال من عمر 5 إلى 11 سنة. فقد أثبتت الدراسات بعد تجارب سريرية مع أطفال حول العالم أن جرعتي اللقاح المخصصة لهم آمنة وفعالة. يوصي الأطباء بتلقيح الأطفال من سن 5 فما فوق من أجل حماية الأصحاء منهم أو ذوي الظروف الصحية الصعبة. الطفل جزء من المجتمع وهو معرض لأن يصاب بالفيروس ويمكن أن يحمله لعائلته ولمن حوله. احمي طفلك وعائلتك ومجتمعك. لقح طفلك ليكون بأمان في المدرسة أو مع العائلة والأصدقاء وأثناء ممارسة الرياضة. تحدث لطبيبك واكتشف الحقائق بنفسك أو زر موقع michigan.gov/kidscovidvaccine. رسالة من وزارة الصحة والخدمات الإنسانية في ميشيغان.
Are your hands feeling numb? Do you feel pain opening up a jar, turning a key? Are you noticing that your elbow and your shoulder are becoming stiff? Or were you recently injured in your arm? Hello, I'm Dr. Brigitte Katranji, and at the Katranji Hand Center, which just recently opened down the street from the Somerset Mall, we can provide you with the latest in hand, wrist, elbow, and shoulder care. Visit us at www.katranjihandcenter.com to learn the latest techniques that we have to offer you, and I look forward to taking care of you.
Visit us in Troy at 1565 West Big Beaver Road, Building F, or call Katranji Hand Center for an appointment at 248-869-4263. That's 248-869-4263. Get ready for an amazing experience at Ishtar Restaurant on 15 Mile Road in Sterling Heights. Enjoy excellent hospitality from owners Ali Al-Baghdadi and Fatty Bonham, serving the best in Mediterranean food. Try Chef Ali Al-Baghdadi's famous shawarma, the best Iraqi grills and food, and the best Arabic and international dishes. Dine in our authentic atmosphere or take out. Call 586-698-2585 or check us out on Facebook. Ishtar Restaurant practices all CDC guidelines and is open every day 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Have an amazing experience today at Ishtar Restaurant, 3625 15 Mile Road, Sterling Heights.
Welcome back and thank you for being with us. This is Khalil Hachem. Mike, I think Jerry is on the line.
Yes, he
Morning,
is.
Jerry.
Good morning, Mr. Khalil Hachem, and thank you for taking my call.
Absolutely.
I wish if the thank you. Thank you for bringing the Mr. Jeff, the FBI agent, to the show.
Yes.
I wish if he was still there to address for him some questions, but
Go ahead.
He could hear us anyway. Mr.
Yes.
Khalil Hachem, drugs has become very dangerous especially for our young children, And like you said earlier, 110,000 overdose. They give their life for drugs. And this is drugs, if we look at it, Mr. Khalil, it's coming from outside the country, from unprotected border. So my question...
What border, Jerry? What border?
The border, we talking about the south border?
No.
About the north border.
Most of the stuff is here, Jerry. We don't have to blame our problems on others. Anyway, what's the question?
My question is, Mr. Khalil, don't you think should be some cooperation between the FBI agency and the local enforcement, like the police department in 3 counties, Macomb, Wayne, Oakland, cooperation between those agencies to work together, to cooperate together, to put a stop for drugs and the drug dealer.
Thank you.
They
Thank
are
you,
killing
Jerry.
our kids on the streets.
Thank you.
Thank
Appreciate
you, Mr.
it.
Khalil Hachem.
Absolutely.
And have a nice weekend.
Yes. You too. Mr. Tarasca, the special agent in charge, did talk about this, and there's quite a bit of cooperation. I think the biggest issue, Jerry, here is the fact that we have an incredible demand for it, and this is where we need to work on. If we address the demand, then things gonna change. If we don't address the demand, I think the authorities are doing a good job. They're working together. I attend a lot of meetings where everybody works together, whether there's a local police, the sheriff, the county sheriff, and then the federal government. They work very hard and they put their lives on the line to solve this issue. Now, two things needs to happen. We as a community need to step up, and we as parents need to step up and do our job. This is something very important that we need to do to really counter this horrible, horrible issue in our community. Again, we're going to take another break. Please stay tuned. We're going to go back and talk about TSA. Stay tuned, please.
Imagine you're on a train track. Somewhere miles away, a train is headed your way. You can't see it yet, but it's coming. Slowly but surely. If you have prediabetes or you're at risk for type 2 diabetes, you may be on the wrong track, and diabetes could be heading your way. Bit by bit, the danger is getting closer and closer. So should you stay on the track you're on now, or move to make a change and reduce your risk? If you have prediabetes or you're at risk for type 2 diabetes, you may qualify for the National Diabetes Prevention Program in your local community. This one-year program could be the ongoing support you need to put you on the right track. Not only did participants lose weight, they cut their risk of type 2 diabetes in half. Ready to get on board for a healthier future? Learn more about the National Diabetes Prevention Program and what else you can do to manage and prevent diabetes at michigan.gov/diabetes. A message from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services.
Life is a nonprofit charity that's provided humanitarian aid and development to people and communities for over 25 years, regardless of race, color, religion, or cultural background. When disaster occurs here or around the world, Life for Relief and Development rushes in to provide food, medical aid, and shelter to those in need. Please help improve these efforts. Make your tax-deductible donation to Life now at lifeusa.org or call 248-424-7493. At Top Rehab Physical Therapy Clinic in Dearborn, we provide effective physical therapy sessions in order to limit pain and discomfort. Top Rehab provides physical therapy care for any diagnosis prescribed by a physician, and we regularly see and treat conditions such as stroke, TMJ, fibromyalgia, sciatica, joint pain, and more. We use a variety of pain management methods, including modalities, soft tissue mobilization, and therapeutic exercise. If you're in need of physical rehabilitation or physical therapy, get the highest quality health care at Top Rehab. Most insurance is accepted, and we're open Monday, Wednesday, and Friday 8 to 6, Tuesday and Thursday 8 to 5, and Saturday 10 till 2. Call for an appointment today at 313-846-0555. That's 313-846-0555. Choose Top Rehab Physical Therapy Clinic on Michigan Avenue in Dearborn. Life's too short to be in pain. Kashat's Mediterranean Market in Shish Kebab offers a great array of your favorite Mediterranean meals. Meals range from lamb specialties, shawarma sandwiches, and seafood dinners. Plus, they offer big trays of your favorite food and so much more. Kashat's Mediterranean Market in Shish Kebab is located at 32839 Northwestern Highway in Farmington Hills and is open from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. So stop in or call Kashat's today at 248-538-9552. That number again, 248-538-9552. Kashat's Mediterranean Market in Shish Kebab will definitely leave you satisfied.
Welcome back, and thank you for being with us. This is Khalil Hachem, editor of Michigan. I want to thank Special Agent James Tarasca for being with us early this morning, talking about the opioid crisis. And we're going to switch to a different topic. As you will know, summer travel will start soon. And, more and more people will travel out of the Detroit metro area here out of the airport. And with us this morning is Federal Security Director Steve Lorincz, our friend at the airport, to help us become familiar with some of the procedures and update us on what's going on, what's new this year that travelers need to know. Good morning, Steve, and thank you for being with us.
Good morning. Good morning to you and good morning to your audience. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you. What kind of season do we expect and how busy and what do we need to know?
Yeah, so, 2022 for us is going to be a busy summer season. We're going to be kind of at or exceeding a little bit the 2019 numbers. So the recovery period for us has been pretty robust within the state of Michigan. So for the summer months, which really starts for us from May till September, we're anticipating probably about 2.1 million passengers traveling in the U.S. on a daily basis. So we're still a little bit down on the international travel and a little bit on the business travel, but all the other aspects of the travel industry has returned in a pretty robust manner. So it's going to be a busy summer for all of us.
Absolutely. To help people understand, TSA deals with security with people leaving the airport. Customs deals with security of people entering the airport. Now, the FBI is involved with a different matter. So when we're talking to TSA, we're talking about measures and securities for people leaving the airport. Is that correct?
That is correct. So TSA oversees everything multimodal within the U.S. So I have oversight responsibilities, of course, biggest being aviation, but anything with surface, anything with pipeline, anything with rail, I have oversight responsibility in busing and things of that sort. So you are correct. Primary responsibility is going to be aviation and domestically, and then CBP welcomes customers and passengers into the U.S.
Absolutely. What do we need to know if we're leaving Detroit Metro?
So one of the things that I just want to remind your audience is that, keep in mind that Real ID, the deadline for implementation is going to be May of next year. So we definitely recommend your audience to go out if they are not have not received their Real ID to make sure that they do that. Also, we have deployed a lot of technology which offers a touchless experience. We want to make sure that it's not only an enhancement in security, but it's also an enhancement from a safety and health and a customer experience. So we ask people to go to tsa.gov and they'll find the latest and greatest information there. And we also want to make sure that the audience is aware, give yourself plenty of time so you can check in, park your vehicle, make sure that your interaction with the airlines, it's a busy time, and then security, of course. And you give yourself plenty of time to get down to your departure gate so you're not stressed and rushed. So give yourself plenty of time before for your trip. And then as far as passengers, you're not required to wear a mask. You still can if you want when you get into the transportation domain. So that is a change from the last couple of years because you were required to wear a mask within all transportation modes. So just a couple things to kind of keep in mind. And, just enjoy, pack a little patience and, just enjoy your trip and your family. And, we welcome you to Detroit and any airport within the state of Michigan.
Yeah. Do you still do the random check?
We do. Yeah, we do.
Is that done via computer or how is that done?
Yeah, it's a randomized process. So we continue to do randomized screening and we continue to focus on layered security. And we want to make sure that the system is always safe. And so we continue to make sure that we leverage all resources available and then leverage all security layers that we have available to make sure that the system is safe for all passengers for travel.
Wonderful. This question always comes up a lot as far as money. And then the allowed amount is for anybody to travel is $10,000?
For going out of the country.
Yeah. And that's for individual. Now, if one person is traveling with a family, that's again for the whole family.
That is correct. So, we recommend if you're traveling internationally to make sure that you go to the CBP website and look at the requirements for carrying money outside the country to make sure that you understand the declaration requirements. And then you comply with those. And if there's any questions, there's a frequently asked questions section that each customer or passenger can go there and gather some additional information if needed.
Absolutely. And if anybody wants to take more than 10,000, is there like a special form, or do they need to inform anybody at the airport, or what's going on?
Yeah, there's very specific requirements that for each customer, when you're taking large amounts of currency out of the country, that you have to make sure that, first of all, you declare, but then secondly, that you comply with the requirements put forth by DHS and the Customs and Border Protection Agency.
What happened if I do and they find more than 10,000 with me at the airport?
There's going to possibly be some additional conversation as far as that, but also some additional fines associated with that. So I would strongly recommend to make sure that you declare. If you have any questions, make sure that you request that and get those answered before your trip, so you have a pleasant experience when you show up at the airport and you travel internationally.
Absolutely. Would I be asked to somebody to take a look at my phone, my computer as I'm leaving, or this is only requirement when I come in?
So, I don't want to speak for Customs and Border Protection, but, they do have random checks, just like any, other federal agency within the transportation mode. So there could be some additional questions that are asked of all passengers or some passengers as they are ready to board an international flight. I always say, make sure that you do your homework before you arrive at the airport. Make sure that you understand the requirements as far as declaration, what you can carry out of the country, and make sure you're always open, truthful, and respectful as you continue the dialogue to make sure that you have a pleasant experience. Do as much homework as you possibly can before your arrival to the airport. You're going to have a pleasant experience leaving the country and also returning back to the country.
As far as TSA is concerned, they don't ask to see a phone or a computer or anything like that?
No, the only thing that we ask is, of course, we do document checking when you arrive at the airport. So to have your ID or your passport out and available so we can process you expeditiously. And then if you're a pre-check customer, we're not requiring you to take anything out of your bag.
What's a pre-check?
Yes, for pre-check. If you're a standard customer, you will be required to take out your computer, your laptop or iPad or things of that sort and put it separately in a bin. So that's one of the things that I will tell your audience. It's a great investment, $80 for 5 years. You can opt into pre-check, and then we can expedite your travel and you can have a very pleasant experience. And the wait times are usually 5 minutes and less going through security.
Absolutely. So pre-check something I would have to arrange, is there like an interview or what's going on?
Yes. So we have locations throughout the state. We do have a location here at Metro Airport where you can set up an appointment. You would have to provide some documentation. There would be some fingerprints that would be required at that time. And then within a couple of days, they will get back to you as far as the approval process. You get a number that's associated with your reservation. So when you travel, you place that in your reservation. So you would be eligible to receive pre-check screening when you go through the airports.
Absolutely. And this is mainly recommended for people who travel more often than once a year.
That's correct. There's a lot of folks that travel on business on a weekly basis. But, for a lot of people, for families and things of that sorts that travel, a couple times during the year, they still see a lot of value added to it because you're not required to divest all the items from your carry-on luggage. You keep your shoes on, you keep your liquid gels and aerosols in the bag. So you have a more, not only expeditious screening experience, but you also have a more stress-free screening experience because we're requiring less of you to divest when you come through the checkpoint.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Is there anything we can do to make the packing experience better? I know you have quite a bit of stuff online, but, is there anything that we can do to make it better?
Yeah, I will tell you, the more that you can pack into your checked luggage, I think the better, right? Because we do different screenings of your checked luggage. One of the things that I travel at times on a weekly basis, and one of the things that I try to do is I try to make sure that everything is in my carry-on bag. So when I get up to the security checkpoint, the process is expeditious. Make sure that you have your ID out and available. And also understand the more clutter that you have in your carry-on bag, it's going to require some additional screening. So in that situation, I would recommend that, you pack wisely and you remove as much clutter as you possibly can from your luggage, because then the screening process is going to be quicker because the person doesn't have to look at all the items that you have within that, in that at times cluttered bag or cluttered luggage.
Absolutely. Is there anything I haven't asked you that people need to know?
Well, just a reminder for the audience, Real ID, we have to make sure that that's implemented by next year. If you have any questions, please go to tsa.gov ahead of your travel. If you have any concerns or any questions, we have senior leadership and supervisors at each one of our security checkpoints. Please reach out to them to make sure that you have a pleasant experience. And then we wish you and your family and really your audience the very best for the summer season. Stay safe. And we welcome you to Metro Detroit. And we wish you a very pleasant travel experience as you transit through our airports.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate you taking the time to be with us. And as always, you've been very helpful with this information.
Thank you so much. All the best.
Absolutely. We're going to take a short break. Please stay tuned.
When you're looking for the best in optical care, Dr. Imad Nakash is your doctor to see. With years of experience and thousands of successful procedures performed, you can trust your eyes to Dr. Imad Nakash. See Dr. Imad Nakash and his professional staff for your eye care needs. There's 2 locations to serve you. In Hazel Park, call 248-336-3937. 248-336-3937. In Rochester Hills, call 248-299-3937. That's 248-299-3937.
Enjoy the first Syrian-style cuisine in Michigan. At Davos Cuisine and Catering, you'll find a wide selection of Syrian foods and sweets in our menu, like frike, hoisin, grape leaves with steak, mishawi platter, hot mahashi, char-grilled kebab, shawarma, and much more. Get super fast delivery from Davos Cuisine and Catering right to your door. Order online at damoscuisine.com/menu and track your order live. Davos Cuisine and Catering, 28841 Orchard Lake Road in Farmington Hills. Call 248-987-4985.
Are you going to start a restaurant or a grocery store soon? Do you need floor plans and designs? Call Naji Abood at 734-744-9796. Do you want to buy kitchen and restaurant equipment at discount prices? Call Naji Abood now, 734-744-9796. New Concept Products and Design, the trademark of kitchen equipment. 5% discount on all purchases of $75,000 or more. New Concept Products and Design, new location, 31185 Schoolcraft in Livonia. Learn more at www.newconceptproducts.com. Call Naji Abood, 734-744-9796.
When it comes to reproductive medicine, IVF Michigan Fertility Centers are the recognized leaders. With locations in Bloomfield Hills and 5 other cities in Michigan and Ohio, IVF has experts in all aspects of the field. As a founding member of IVF Michigan Fertility Centers, Dr. Nicholas Shama is one of the leading reproductive endocrinologists in Michigan and Ohio. Dr. Shama has performed over 10,000 IVF cases and has helped thousands of couples fulfill their dreams of parenthood. American board certified in both obstetrics and gynecology and reproductive endocrinology and infertility, Dr. Nicholas Shama is a very caring, compassionate, expert physician that understands not only the medical but also the emotional toil of infertility on his patients. When it's time, get personalized care from Dr. Nicholas Shama at IVF Michigan Fertility Centers in Michigan and Ohio. Call toll-free 855-952-9600, 855-952-9600.
Welcome back, and thank you for being with us. Again, a special thank you to Steve Lorincz, Federal Security Director at the airport, for his great tips for traveling this summer. In the last portion of the program, we're going to shift to a different topic, and that is interest rates. The Feds continue to increase interest rates, hoping to counter inflation. How does it affect us? Does it affect us if we're buying a home, if we're, specifically if we're buying a home, how does it affect us? As you well know, whenever interest rates go up, what the government is trying to do is it is trying to make us spend less. And it normally affects credit cards, buying cars, but the most people, what's on everybody's mind is how does it affect us, for our mortgages. And with us this morning is Brigitte Jaward-Hachem. She's a loan director in the area. And good morning, Brigitte.
Good morning.
And thank you for being with us this morning.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So the interest rate is up, and it's going to continue to go up a little bit more. And now, if I have a mortgage, that should not affect me. This is only for new mortgages or for those who have an ARM. Is that correct?
Yes, those are for new mortgages, purchases, or refinances, and for those that have adjustable rates that are going to be affected by the increase as their term comes up, whenever it's due.
Yeah. What's the average right now? What's the average rate right now?
Well, the average rate on a 30-year fix today is about 5.3 fix. On a 15-year fix, it's about 4.45. And on an adjustable, which is a 5-year fix, but it adjusts, it's about 3.9. And those change every day.
Yeah.
Based on different factors, various factors.
Okay. Now, not long. This is normally the normal rate. The other rates, the 2 and 3, those because it was a special measure by the government to keep interest rate at 0. But normal rates are 5 and 6. Is that correct?
Definitely, yes, Khalil. I've been in the industry 30 years, and when I first started, the normal fixed rate was 9.5, and the adjustable rates were ranging from 5 to 6. And over the years, it's like the stock market. It's going to go up and down. Yeah. We have had 3s, about a decade ago, about 10, 12 years ago. But that was a dream that happened, like 2-3%. That's very low. But the norm is 5, 6. And I see that hovering around that the next couple of years, actually, between 5 and 6.
Yeah. Has that increase affected the number of people applying for new loans?
Definitely, that has made a big impact on purchases and refinances. So whoever needs to refinance is not going to do it because they probably have a very close or similar rates. For purchases, it's affected the purchase market where people are. Okay, it's a shock. So when you're used to 2 or 3 and now you're 5 and 6, and it's within a couple months span, it's not like a long period. It just didn't happen like 0.25% very gradually. It just happened suddenly within 2 or 3 months. We're at 5 and 6. So that it gives a shock. Then they get used to the idea. Then 5 and 6 becomes the norm, because I've seen that over the years where the rates go up. People have to get used to it. Then it becomes the norm. Then life is back to normal again. And this is normal. Yes.
Yeah. Now, the difference, the interest rates, does it impact the rate or does it impact the monthly payment? It makes the monthly payment larger, or what? What does it do?
It definitely makes the monthly payment larger, especially based on the loan amount. So the higher the loan amount, the larger the payment is. It also affects qualifying ratios. So whoever was approved for a certain loan amount a few months ago and now is probably going to be approved for a lower loan amount to qualify because of the impact on the payment and the interest of, you're paying less on your principal. So that's another factor too, not just the payment, is you're paying more interest, and it's costing you more on the long run to hold on to your properties.
Absolutely.
Value-wise and appreciation-wise.
Yeah. And interest rates go up and down. This is not like it's going to stay 6 forever or it's going to stay 5 forever.
Definitely not. And things are going to change over time. And again, like I said, when the rates were at 9.5, I like to go back to the past because I use that as an example historically. I was telling a lot of the adjustable rates, and they were very reasonable. There's a lot of indexes that are tied there. It's not, people get worried about adjustables that they jump up to 11 or 12. There are caps on adjustables. There are margins and index that you look at, and the term, there's 5-year fixed and 7-year fixed and 10-year fixed, and those rates are much better than the 30-year fixed rate wise. And people just take them temporary, and then when the rates go down, we turn around and refinance them. So we've seen this happen over years, and it's just a matter of time that things will change again. Nothing stays the same.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I mean,
and Khalil, not to cut you off, housing. I'm sorry to cut you off, but housing is like food. There's always going to be a need for it. You need a home to live in.
Yeah.
So definitely you don't have any other option but to rent or to buy.
Exactly. And then this is the point I was going to make. I mean, no matter how high it is and whatever payment it is, it's still going to be lower than renting, and you're not really benefiting because rent prices are outrageous right now.
Yes, everything follows each other. Just the rents is high, mortgages rates are high, even buying cars is high. Everything is high at this moment with what's going on with inflation and the point I was trying to make is the fact that it's better to buy even though the rate is high than renting, because a standard $200,000 home, if I'm going to rent a home like that, 1,200, 1,300 square foot, it's going to be somewhere in the $1,700, $1,800 a month. My mortgage most likely would be a lot less than that. Isn't that correct? Definitely. Mortgages will be less than that. And don't forget, over time, your mortgage, if you're locked in at a rate and the payments, your payment's going to stay the same, even if it's 10 years from now. But if you're renting, rent is going based on market also. You might end up paying 30% more over a 10-year period.
Absolutely.
For renting. So you're not locked into a rate also. That's another factor. So if you're in a fixed rate, you're better off on the long run, and then the appreciation of properties.
Absolutely. Somebody explained it to me. They said, if you think mortgage is 6%, rent is 100%, because you're not really getting any benefits out of that other than living in that house. There's another point that, I remember when I bought my house in 2004, my rate was 5.2 or 3, something like that. And I didn't change it for a long, long time, because over time, money loses value. And then my mortgage, which was $591, remained $591. And what was $591 in 2004, now $591 is not really a lot of money. So, as money loses value, even if the rate is a little high, we're still better off than renting.
Oh, definitely, yes. Purchasing, owning a property is way better off than renting. You're locked into a rate, and like you said, inflation factors. That's why I said the rents might go up because of inflation factors and the value of the money. So $1,000 now and 10 years from now is not the same.
Absolutely.
But again, like I said, in reference to the rates, there's no guarantee on how things will go. You never know. With the way things are going, we might end up hitting 9% fixed. I'm not sure, but I see, the next couple of years, 5-6%. If things stay this way and we have more inflation factors, we might have issues. But again, there are alternatives. So you have to speak to the experts, and there are ways of doing things. And like I said, the adjustable rates are not that bad.
Yeah.
And they're very favorable, and they start at a much lower rate. There are different products out there.
Absolutely.
And, you just need to speak to someone that knows what they're doing, and they're not just used to a 15 and a 30-year fixed.
Yeah, and this was going to be my recommendation. Before you buy, always talk to someone who is honest. Number one, they're going to tell you the truth, and two, they're knowledgeable, because there are a lot of products out there. It's always better to talk to more than one person, but deal with the person that you trust, because it's very, very important. And, the other benefit of owning a home is the tax, it helps you with your taxes, tax reduction, and so forth and so on. So that helps as well. One last question in regard to, a lot of people ask me, how much down payment should I put? What do you recommend?
Well, the idea will be 20% down, so you can get rid of the private mortgage insurance or mortgage insurance premium if it's FHA. The ideal is that, but you can. There are products out there for professionals and doctors that are zero down, for veterans that are zero down. FHA is 3.5% down, conventional 3 to 5% down. So it all depends on one's situation. So it's going to vary from person to person. It varies, but the ideal is 20% down.
Yeah. Before I ask you final thoughts, if anybody needs to have a question and needs to reach you, how can they reach you?
Well, I don't like to give my mobile number out, but I will. It's 313-825-4187. Again, it's 313-825-4187. Feel free to call me, and I'll be more than happy to do any consultation over the phone.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you taking the time to be with us.
Thank you, Khalil. Absolutely. Have a great day and a nice weekend too.
Absolutely. Thank you. And I want to thank you for being with us as well. This has been a wonderful Friday. I wish you a safe weekend. Thanks to FBI Special Agent in Charge, James Tarasca, for discussing the opioid crisis. And thanks for Steve Lorincz, Federal Security Director Steve Lorincz from at the airport for being with us to help us understand if you're traveling out of the airport, what we need to do and what we don't need to do. And there's a lot of more information online on tsa.gov. I encourage you to visit that. Thanks to Brigitte for being with us to discuss the interest rates hikes, and what we need to do. Again, if you need help with, as you well know, and I want to put a final plug for me here, is if you need help, you're selling, you're buying, specifically if you're selling, this is a perfect time to do it. Give me a call, 313-819-0101. We do both commercial and residential. Give me a call, 313-819-0101. This has been a pleasure to be with you. Thank you, Mike, for a great production, and thank to all the guests and the listeners. And special thank you to the person who found this great radio, Layla Al-Husni, for giving us the opportunity to serve this community. And I strongly, strongly ask you and urge you to support this great radio for all the great programs that US Arab Radio puts out, and just a wonderful platform to inform the community and to interact with the community. Again,
recording stop. Recording stop.
Thank you so much again. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Bye now.